There's a ghost that haunts Interstate 71, a phantom that has fueled one of the most compelling and misleading sports narratives of the year. The story, as you've likely heard it, is cinematic. It's a tale of two teammates, a superstar defender, the unquestioned leader of his team, and a hyped rookie quarterback, the future of the franchise. It paints a picture of the same dark stretch of highway, the same flashing blue and red lights cutting through the night, the same transgression. It's the perfect, almost poetic story of a leadership crisis, a team culture in a state of freefall. But what if I told you the rookie at the center of this story is a ghost, and the real story, the one hiding behind the misinformation, is something far more personal, far more complex, and frankly far more terrifying? Our story begins in the deep quiet of the early morning hours on a stretch of Ohio highway. Hours after the Cleveland Browns returned from a preseason game, a sleek gray Ferrari, a machine built for breathtaking speed, slices through the darkness. Behind the wheel is Myles Garrett. He's not just a player, he is the franchise. He's the cornerstone of the defense, the emotional heartbeat of the locker room, and the man the organization just bet its future on. In that moment, though, he's just a driver, and he's driving fast. Police clock him at an even 100 miles per hour in a 60-mile-per-hour zone. A simple ticket is issued, a fine of a couple $100, an amount that is a rounding error for a man who just signed a contract worth a staggering $160 million. On the surface, it's a minor infraction, a footnote, but this story was never really about the ticket. Almost immediately, the narrative exploded. The whispers on fan forums became shouts on social media. The incident wasn't just about Myles Garrett anymore. It was about the powerful echo it created. The story became that Garrett's transgression was made infinitely worse, unforgivably so, because it directly mirrored the actions of a player he was supposed to be mentoring, the team's supposed new rookie quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. The rumor was that Sanders had been ticketed for speeding on that exact same highway by the same police jurisdiction just weeks earlier. The connection was electric, and it was damning. This was no longer just a speeding problem. It was a profound culture problem. The leader was not just failing, he was actively setting a corrupting example, and the impressionable rookie was following his dangerous lead. Commentators, fans, and content creators all seized on this as the ultimate gotcha moment. Undeniable proof that the Browns' endless talk of building a new standard, a new identity, was just empty corporate jargon. The narrative was simple, powerful, and it spread like wildfire. The culture is rotten from the top down, people declared. How can you expect the young guys to do right when the captain of the ship is steering it toward an iceberg? There's just one massive, glaring, reality-shattering problem with this perfectly crafted narrative. Shedeur Sanders does not play for the Cleveland Browns. He is not their rookie quarterback. He is not in their locker room, their huddle, or their team facility. He is the star quarterback for the University of Colorado, hundreds of miles away in Boulder, preparing for his own collegiate season. The ghost on I-71, the phantom rookie at the very center of this supposed culture crisis, simply doesn't exist within the Browns organization. The story, as it was so widely and confidently told, is a complete fabrication. So now we have to throw that entire narrative away and ask the real question. If the tidy, convenient story of a hypocritical mentor and his phantom rookie is false, what is the actual story here? Why is Myles Garrett's speeding ticket still a profoundly serious, deeply troubling issue for the Cleveland Browns? The answer is far more complex and has absolutely nothing to do with a player who isn't even on his team. It has everything to do with a documented, persistent, and dangerous pattern. To truly understand the immense weight of this situation, you have to understand who Myles Garrett is to this team and this city. He isn't just their best player, he's the man they chose to build their entire future around. 4 years, $160 million, with over $123 million of it fully guaranteed. A contract of that magnitude isn't just a salary you pay for sacks, pressures, and spin moves. It's a symbolic transfer of identity. It's the team's ownership, front office, and coaching staff looking at one man and saying, you are the Cleveland Browns now. You are the standard. You are the example. You are the heartbeat that will define our organization for a generation of fans on and off the field. You don't hand someone those kinds of keys without the implicit, solemn expectation that they'll protect the investment. And that's precisely why this incident and the history that precedes it hits so differently. Because this isn't the first time Myles Garrett's driving has made headlines. To grasp the severity, we have to rewind the clock to September 2022. It wasn't a ticket, it was a terrifying single-car crash that could have easily ended his career, Or far, far worse, Garrett was driving his Porsche on a country road when he lost control. The car veered off the pavement, hitting a ditch and a fire hydrant before flipping multiple times. He and his passenger walked away, battered and bruised, Garrett with a sprained shoulder and a strained biceps, but miraculously, astonishingly alive. He was cited by the Ohio State Highway Patrol for failure to control his motor vehicle, with the official report noting that an unsafe speed for the type of roadway appeared to be a significant contributing factor. After the crash, Garrett himself spoke of his immense gratitude. He talked about being grateful to be here. It was a moment of profound reflection, a brush with mortality that should have been the ultimate, final wake-up call. And yet it wasn't an isolated incident. Reporting at the time and since has uncovered a troubling history of multiple prior speeding citations, with several documented instances of him being clocked at speeds well over 100 miles per hour. So this latest ticket on I-71 isn't a one-off mistake made in the quiet of the night. It is another chapter in a deeply troubling book. It paints a portrait of a recurring pattern of high-risk behavior that has alarmingly continued even after a near-tragic accident. This is where the story becomes so difficult, because it creates a fascinating and painful paradox. By all accounts from inside the building, Myles Garrett is a leader. He's beloved by his teammates, respected for his relentless work ethic, and often praised for his sharp intelligence and quiet character. He's the guy who stays late to watch film, the guy who takes young players under his wing, the guy who pushes everyone in the weight room to be better. So how does that person, that respected leader, coexist with the one who repeatedly, seemingly compulsively, puts himself in incredibly dangerous situations behind the wheel of a high-performance car? This is where the conversation needs to evolve beyond generic abstract buzzwords like culture. The real danger here isn't about setting a bad example for a non-existent rookie. The real danger is tangible, physical, and life-altering. It's about the very real possibility that one of the most dominant athletic forces on the planet could be taken away from the game he loves, or worse, because of a persistent, dangerous habit he can't seem to shake. The 2022 crash wasn't just a bad look for the team or a PR nightmare. It was a life-threatening event. The pictures of his mangled Porsche were a chilling reminder of how close he came to a tragic end. This reality places the Cleveland Browns in an almost impossible no-win position. What do? On one hand, you have the argument for severe public consequences. Do you suspend your best player, your $160 million man, for what is technically a minor traffic violation to send an unequivocal message that no one is above the standard? Do you risk alienating the most important player in your organization? On the other hand, do you handle it with a quiet internal fine and a stern talking to, and risk looking to the world, and more importantly, to your own locker room, like you're enabling a dangerous pattern and operating with a clear double standard for your superstars? There is no easy answer. And it's within that uncomfortable complexity that we can finally understand why the ghost story about Shedeur Sanders was born in the first place. People, and the internet as a collective, created that connection because it simplifies a messy, deeply personal issue into an easy-to-understand morality play. Hypocritical mentor corrupts impressionable rookie is a much simpler and more dramatic headline than the difficult, nuanced truth. Beloved superstar grapples with a recurring and dangerous personal habit that puts his life at risk. We crave simple narratives with clear heroes and villains, but the truth of the human condition is rarely that simple. The real, alarming story here isn't about Myles Garrett failing a phantom rookie. It's about Myles Garrett potentially failing himself. The ghost on I-71 isn't a college quarterback. The ghost is the specter of that mangled Porsche. The ghost is the memory of what could have happened in 2022 and the chilling fear of what could still happen in the future. This is a story about one of the league's greatest talents and his deeply concerning, recurring dance with high-speed risk and the existential threat that poses to him, his team, and their historic investment in his future. So the conversation needs to change. It needs to mature. This isn't just about punishment or making an example of someone. It's a much more human and complicated issue that touches on themes of responsibility, mortality, and the psychology of elite athletes. So I want to ask you a more difficult question. How should a team and a community handle a beloved superstar whose biggest flaw is a dangerous, recurring off-field habit? What is the right balance between public accountability and private, personal support to truly protect a player from himself? Let me know your thoughtful take in the comments below. And if this gave you a new perspective on the real story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives that go beyond the headlines.